Hey everyone, the goal of this video is to teach you how to solve equations with algebra tiles using all the legal moves that we've learned in class the last couple days. You'll also learn how to check your solution using tiles to see if your answer is correct. Be sure to take notes on the note sheet that was given out in class and make sure you're copying down the examples carefully with me.
Before we look at the examples, let's make sure we have the steps recorded. Alright, step 1 to solving an equation. Once you have all the tiles built, you want to combine your like terms, which is like making zero pairs. You guys have gotten really good at doing this. We've been practicing that for a while now. Step 2, you want to remove the same amount from both sides. So if you have an x on the left and an x on the right, you can take that off of both mats. Or if you have a -2 on the left and a -2 on the right, you take that off of both mats. Okay, then you want to work on getting all the x's alone on one side of the mat, and then all the unit tiles are the ones alone on the other side of the mat. For number 4, you're going to add the same amount to both sides if you need to in order to get the x's alone, and you'll see that in the examples for how we do that. And then finally, you need to decide what value of x would make both sides of the mat equal to each other. So we're no longer comparing the two mats like we were previously. Now we're trying to figure out what would x be in order to make the left side equal to the right side. So let's see what that looks like with an example. Okay, this is number 1. We're asked to solve the equation. We're trying to figure out what value of x would make the left side equal to the right side. Let's start by writing down the equation as it's built. So let's see, what's on mat A? Well, I have 3x, and then I have plus negative x, or you could do minus x. And then I have plus 6. Okay, I counted all these up. And then I'm going to put my equal sign. Notice there's not a question mark there anymore. We're not comparing, we're saying they're equal to each other. And then on the second mat, we have x plus negative x plus 3 plus -1. So now I recorded all these on the right side of my equal sign. Okay, so that's what's built there. Now let's use our legal moves to simplify this as much as we can. I'm going to start with making my zero pairs, or combine my like terms. So on the first mat, I see a 0 here. That's all I have. On the second mat, I can make a 0 pair there and a 0 pair here. Alright, step 2, let's remove any tiles from both mats that show up on both mats. So any of the same amount of tiles from both sides. So the first mat has 2, and the second mat has 2, so we can pull that off. Alright, and let's see what we're left with now. On the first mat, I have 2x plus 4. I'm going to just record that below here so I can see. I have 2x plus 4. And what do I have left over here? Nothing. So we're going to put 0. So right now we have 2x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, but we didn't finish our steps. Our third step is to try to get x's alone on one side and the 1's on the other. And in order to do that, we're going to use step 4, which is add the same amount of tiles to both sides so that our x's are alone. Our x's are positive, right? So let's keep them where they are, but we need to get rid of these 4 positives. How can we do that? We talked about this in class a little bit yesterday as well. We can add 4 negatives to both sides, right? Because if I add 4 negatives over here, I would like you to draw a rectangle around your name on your note sheet. Okay, now let's check our answer. We figured out on the last slide that x equals -2. So now we need to check it and see if we put -2 in for all of our x's, will it make the left side equal the right side? Here's how we'll do it with the tiles. Anytime we see x, we're going to put -2. So there's a -2, -2, -2. We know all these are just 1's because our units always stay the same. But now the tricky part is this one right here. This is a -x tile, or we remember we talked about it also being the opposite of x. So if x is -2, then the opposite of x is +2. Okay, it's a -2, which makes a +2. It's kind of tricky. Okay, let's look on the right side. X I put negative 2. Again, we have the opposite of x, so the opposite of negative 2 is 2. And then this is a negative 1, a 1, a 1, and a 1. And now we're going to add up each side and see if they equal each other. If the left side equals the right side, we know that our solution is correct. Okay, so I've got negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, that's negative 6. Plus 2 is negative 4, plus 6 equals 2. So the value of the left mat is 2. And then over on the right, if I add negative 2 plus 2, that's 0. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Plus 1 plus 1 is 2. Since the left mat equals the right mat, we know that our solution is correct. X equals negative 2. Now, don't think that this right here has to equal what we got for x, okay? This just tells us that the left mat equals the right mat when x equals negative 2. So our actual solution is x equals negative 2. All right, let's try another one. I want you to always start by writing down the equation that you see built. So on the left, I see 4x plus negative 3x plus 6 plus negative 2. And over on the right, I see 2x plus negative 3x, or minus 3x, plus, I see 7 minus 1. And we know that these two are equal to each other because of the equal sign in the middle of our mats. Okay, now I'm going to simplify by removing my 0 pairs. So go ahead and do that on yours as well. Make sure you're getting all of the 0 pairs taken off. There's one. And I think we got them all. Okay, my second step, I can take away the same tiles if they appear on both mats. So I see 4 over here. And I also have 4 over here. I can remove those. At this point, I have x on the left and negative x plus 2 on the right. We have not reached our goal yet of getting the x's alone on one side because this negative x is still showing up. We need to get this negative x over here. Now, I can't take it off. I can't make zeros, but what we can do is we can add the same tile to both mats. So what could we add to both mats that would allow us to get rid of this negative x? Well, I know that if I add a positive x, those two are going to cancel out and make a 0 pair, right? But I can't just do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side as well. Whatever you do to the left, you have to do to the right. So that made a 0 over there, and we've succeeded in getting our x's alone on one side. So on the left, we now have 2x, and on the right, we have 2. So now we're left with this equation. 2 times x equals 2. Or 2 times what number equals 2? Well, I know that 2 times 1 equals 2, so x has to be equal to 1. All right, let's check our answer. We found out that x equals 1. We're going to substitute it in for every x we see and see if the left side equals the right side. So everywhere I see x, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 in. So I see 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, now right up here we have a negative x, or an opposite of x tile. Well, what's the opposite of 1? Negative 1. Same here and same here. And now down here, these are all just 1 tiles. Those never change. And these are negative ones. Okay, let's do the same thing over on the right. We've got 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, and then all of these units are always just 1. Now let's add them all up and see what we get on the left, see what we get on the right. If they equal each other, we know that our answer is correct. So just kind of stick with me. We've kind of got a lot to do here. I'm going to do my positives first. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I've got minus 1, which is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I don't know if you caught how I did that. I kind of counted up and counted down. Basically, if I added the left side together, I end up with an answer of 5. On the right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, minus 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 5. The left side equaled the right side, so I know that my answer checks. X has to equal 1, because if x equals 1, the left equals the right. The final step in this homework assignment is to try an example by yourself. I want you to either copy this sketch onto the back of your notes page, or you can screenshot it and put it in Notability. Just make sure you can find it tomorrow. I want you to start by recording the original equation. So what's built on the left, set it equal to what's built on the right. Solve the equation using the legal moves. Make sure we can tell what your answer is. You should end with x equals something. Check your answer and bring this example to class with you tomorrow.